We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. With Maxwell Silverhammer. We are nothing sacred. With cruise control. We are nothing sacred.
My name is Lou Loke. Ain't no joke. Go up like gun smoke. My name is Lou Loke.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Hooked up with an old homie from the camp days, man. The
Dude.
Camp Bloomfield days, man. We got Louie in the building. Louie, what's
Lou
up,
in the
man?
building. Yeah.
What's going on, man?
I could do it better than that.
Oh, hell yeah. A lot better than that. I mean, I didn't even really beatbox because I beatbox in a different way. I scat more than beatbox. But, dude, Lou Loke here from the old days. Thank you for joining us. This is the Nothing Sacred Show. I am Cruise Control.
And I am Maxwell Silverhammer.
We're joined with Louie Loke or just Louie. It's I don't know how you want to be called, but thank you for joining us. If you don't, this guy, we knew him and from a place called Camp Bloomfield. We talked about it before.
Yeah, we did a show about Bloomfield.
And we want to give a little moment. We're going to talk a little bit reminisce, and then we're going to go into a bunch because Louie, I guess, Brett, you know more about like his background. So
Actually, Louie's getting his. You're getting your certificate in mental health, right? What's your thing you're getting?
Yeah, it's a master's degree, and it's kind of weird because it's a master's in education, but it's mental health counseling. It's basically what it is.
Oh wow! Awesome,
wow,
dude! Thank you,
okay.
man. We need more people doing that kind of shit, dude.
Hell yeah!
Fuck
So you'll be
dude.
teaching workshops and things. It sounds like, huh?
Well, I'll be counseling people mostly, like individually,
Oh,
but
okay.
there are some chances to do like group work and things like that. And I have done some, mainly in addictions courses, addictions type groups.
Oh, right.
I've done stuff like that. Yeah.
Addictions are a pain in the ass.
They are.
Pops up in a beer, well, dude. I can't even think about beer after last night. I got.
I bet not. No, I'm chilling tonight. It's song number 7 tonight for our Zoomer release week. Tonight's song is "Sign of Life." It's releasing right now. Let me actually see what's up. It's up on the YouTube, by the way, but it's not up. So anyway, so he's going to hang out with us now. Camp Bloomfield, for any of you guys that don't know, is a camp for the junior blind. Well, it used to be run by the Foundation for the Junior Blind. It's a camp in Malibu, California, where kids come over from all over the country. We're not talking about today's fucking camps where, oh, by the way, Louie, we do curse. If you're welcome to not. If you don't, no worries. Either way.
Let loose.
Yeah, let loose. But there's a camp, and all over the country people come in. We're not talking, like I said, a day or two, where it's, oh my God, it's an overnight. No, we're talking 16 days of glory, like the fucking Olympics, man. 2 fucking weeks of just awesome time in a place where a lot of us could not feel more at home. It's literally it's my favorite place on the planet. And unfortunately it burned down through a fire, and it's being rebuilt, I guess, but it's never going to be the same, obviously. So a moment for Camp Bloomfield. I have a question for you, man, because we didn't hang out, at camp that much. We were cool. Don't get me wrong. We were always cool. There was never any shit, right?
Yeah, no, there wasn't.
No. I mean, I was. I don't know. But how did you see? Because I always saw you as you were always just cool with everybody because you were always chilling, like kind of not in the background necessarily, but you let things kind of just happen. You let people make fools of themselves and do stupid shit while you just kind of watched or whatever. Well, I was kind of like in that. I was kind of more of a goof. I kind of let loose when I got to camp a little bit, because
yeah.
How did you? What was your perception? You remember me, of course, from there.
Yeah, well, you were jamming JC.
That's what I was. That's what I was, baby.
He remembers your old rap name. That's great.
Were you in that fucking thing we were doing, the singing shit, where we were doing like Secret Garden stuff with big old Derek and fucking I wanna be with you. I don't know if you.
That's right.
I want to say yes because I remember me and Derek beatboxed.
Yeah,
we'd always have battles.
Yeah, yeah, dude. And freaking Damien, was it Damien, and oh man, there's so many people that I remember. What a beautiful place that was, man.
Oh, yeah.
How many years you go there? You went about as many as we did, I think. 10, something like that.
I went. I want to say 12, but I missed 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed 92, and here's the nerdy part of myself. I missed 92 because I wanted to take trigonometry in the summer, and I couldn't go to camp that year because of that.
Fuck,
Dude, you skipped camp for trigonometry, man. Fuck.
Hey, dude, was it
Yeah.
was it worth it?
I don't know.
92 was a year, dude. I'll tell you. There's some
Yeah,
shit
it was a
that happened.
great year, man. 92, 93 were just
Oh man, almost
awesome
every
years.
year. Every year was a great year. At that
93
place.
was a good year.
Oh,
93 was a good year.
Dude, CB's the place. Hey guys, this is Mark Lucas here.
You know, it's a privilege to come to Camp Bloomfield.
You got it, Cisco.
Yeah.
CB's the place to be. Don't you know it? Swing.
God, man. Old memories, man. Bringing back some old
Yeah,
shit.
man. Like just the camp. So cheers to Camp Bloomfield. It's like I said, it's a place where I was actually like we had a table there a couple years where it's like all the kids that were
All the cool kids sat
all
at,
the
right?
cool kids. Like I certainly didn't learn my lessons from high school. Like, immediately when I got to be popular at a place, I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah, man.
Anyways, let's get rolling, man. We got some stuff to talk about.
Oh,
we talked
yeah,
about
well-
meeting people, mental health, and you said you had a focus in addiction, right? Or is it you're more focused on individual counseling?
Well, I focus a lot on addiction, and the reason why I do that is because my parents were actually drug addicts.
Oh,
And
wow.
So, and actually, while I was going to camp, they were probably out doing their drugs. So
That's crazy.
it's kind of a weird thing. And
Yeah.
and they ended up divorcing, and like in 91.
Mhm.
And in 91, I was all jacked up. Like,
Oh, dude.
no one knew it, but I kept it together or whatever.
Yeah.
And somebody had asked me about my parents. Actually, Damon. Remember you were talking about Damon?
Yeah.
Damon. He asked because we used to spend the night with each other at our houses and stuff like that because we both lived in L.A.
Oh,
that sort of thing. And he asked me about my parents. And the minute that he asked me about my parents, I just started bawling. I was like, I gotta go. I had to take off and leave him behind because I couldn't show my emotions back then and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right,
Gotcha.
right.
Gotcha.
Well, divorce is a motherfucker when you're younger. Because I
Yeah.
used to, for a long time,
Oh, sure.
I would lie to people. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, and
Yeah.
there was just crazy stuff. Like I didn't want to tell people what
I
went
was
on.
younger when my parents broke up, but I saw the tension between them, so that's where I got it. It wasn't the
Oh,
actual
yeah.
breakup. I was like 3 or 4 when they broke up, so I remember little bits.
Oh,
But
Oh,
it's the outside the car when I was going to go with my dad's and that kind of shit that really
oh heck
fucked me
yeah.
up.
That's the worst part, man.
Yeah.
Or how they couldn't face each
Yeah.
other without fighting.
Or how one would
Yeah, no
insinuate,
kidding.
you're fine, mother, you're fine, what,
Yeah.
just
They're always
like
shit talking the other parent.
Yeah,
Right.
Jesus God, what a disaster that shit is, man.
Yeah.
It is. It's a big disaster. And I was about 13 when mine happened, so I knew everything. In fact, I think that's how I had an interest in counseling because I kind of sort of became their counselor at the time.
Oh wow.
They would, my dad would bitch about how my mom was doing such and such and so, and my mom would bitch about what my dad is doing. And I'm
Oh
like,
man.
I am too young to be in the middle of this shit, but I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and do that.
You took
for
on
my
the
parents.
burden. Yeah, you,
Well,
you
you know what?
actually you were the
Kinda
adult
did.
for your fucking parents. That's scary shit
Yeah.
right there, dude.
Well, you know what? The parents do tend to get a little bit childish when they're going
course.
through that.
Yep.
You know,
'Cause
my
we're
dad
all
used to do
fucked,
some
man.
shit. My dad used to call my mom. She had one of those voice pagers, and he'd call her pager and just start talking shit. I'm like,
Mhm.
the fuck?
Yeah, dude.
That's fair.
So, but you know what?
Crazy.
Speaking of camp, taking it back to camp again, Louie, man, I remember in '93 we were outdoor camping, and you were having like a come to Jesus meeting with Slade about getting high. Because remember, he was like, "Yo, but it's fun to get high and this, that," and you were like, "Dude, I'm telling you right now, you don't want to go down that road because it leads to other shit." And you were like giving him a whole thing. I remember in the tent because we shared a tent together. So that was a
So
very
my parents had a lot to do with the way that I was acting that year too, as far as you know, him saying getting high, I was like, well, shoot, my dad had done cocaine and my mom was on crack. And I was like, dude, this is crazy, man. Like, don't talk about drugs in front of me. That's weird. You know, like,
Yeah, right.
So I got a little, I guess I got a little triggered at that time.
How old were you in 93? What are you, about 45, 43?
45.
Yeah.
No, I mean now. Shut up, fuck this.
Now I'm 40. Now I'm 44. So I was about
Okay.
17, 16.
Yeah, you're about,
like
you're
that,
exactly
16.
our age. You're right where we are. So you're at that age, and right
Yeah.
then, especially you're really learning, like, because that's when you're like, fuck yeah, I'm not doing, you know, and you're really, especially with all the shit you had to deal with. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So when Slade was talking about just getting high, I think he was just talking about getting high on weed. I was like, no, because that leads to other things. And my parents, they did one good thing. They scared the shit out of me when it came to drugs. And so
right now, you don't use drugs.
So I don't use them because they really said, you know, you don't want to go down that road. You don't want to do that. And they explained to me how it is to feel high and how it is to feel low off of when you come off of the high.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that is not the life for me. I don't want that.
Yeah, I understand. And I think you get the difference between like, you know, I've had my issues with some harder stuff early in my, you know, like after high school, a little bit of meth for some time, you know, I'm not gonna lie. It's fucking, I was 19, you know, I got off that shit real quick, and there's a complete difference between certain things, but also just a matter of control and perspective and being an adult and understanding what moderation is. And I mean, of course, you know, it's a lifelong learning experience for some of us. You know, I'm not gonna lie either. But you know what I'm saying, man. It's like, now you're like,
Yeah, well, I do some of the addiction counseling, and meth is like the worst out where I live.
Yeah,
it's horrible, and I'm like, man, you know, people talk about how they crave so much for it, and I'm like, wow, you know.
Yeah,
it's quite the experience.
Yeah. It definitely is, and you know, I'd sit and write for 7 hours straight, and my hand would cramp. I'd write all about the fucking the meaning of the universe and all these fucking diagrams.
Actually, some of it was interesting though. You had some analytical shit, man. I gotta say. With it
was amazing. It fit my. No, that's the problem. It fit my mind, so I could literally sit. You know how I sit and just fucking rock. You know,
right? Yeah.
Think about shit, dude. It sent it into like it was like a steroids. It was like superhuman. Like I could sit for like in school. I got writing all this shit and thinking all this stuff, but it's awful in so many other ways. And yeah, so I feel it, man. So now you don't do anything. You pretty much don't drink or smoke at all, or I'm not smoking, obviously. Right. Yeah, which is fine. You know, that's fine, by the way. I'm approving of what you do. You know?
Actually, it's kind of cool, man. I kind of envy that in some ways, man, because you know, I mean,
of course, man. It's control. It's control, but it's also, you know, you got your shit together, man. So in that way, that's fine, man. It's like your life philosophy is awesome, dude. So awesome, dude. Kudos.
Hell yeah. Well, you know, I want to talk.
And no, okay. It's not even about like being better.
No.
A lot of times people will be like, "Oh, no. you think you're bad because you haven't done any of that?" And I'm like, "No, I just think that I learned from my parents' mistakes." And my little joke is my parents did all the drugs for me, so I'm done. I'm finished with it.
Hey, man,
you partied vicariously through your parents, right?
Bottom line,
right.
it's your body, it's your mind and your life. You do with it what you will, and more power to you, brother.
Right.
So absolutely, man. Well, you know what got me to want to have you on the show, man, is you do these things on your Facebook called Mental Health Mondays. And one topic, man, I was like really wanting to hit on is needy people, man. Like just because, you know, the problem with needy people is, you know, it's all about them, you know, and all about their needs and what they want. They don't give a shit what anyone else wants or whatever. It's all about them, and you better satisfy their needs or else, kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
You know,
it's deeper than that in a way. I mean, because you got needy people who are needy by doing things for you, like Shell.
Oh yeah, well that was an example I was going to use. Yeah.
Okay, but she's not needy. Like, I mean, she needs love, but she's also like getting to the point where you need her.
Yeah, she wants a codependent.
Because that's you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of shit gets, you know, like a needy person. That's a really general term. I guess is what I'm saying. It's like you could say a lot of different things for needy. So what do you mean by that? Like, give us an example of exactly what you mean.
of a needy person.
And they're just an example of what you were talking about. Like I don't know.
Oh, well, you know, I mean, you made a great example right there. My ex, you know, how she used to be, you know, I was in and sometimes they can make it, you know, an abusive relationship. It wasn't physically abusive, but it was mentally and emotionally abusive. And, you know, this is what they do because they're actually, it's funny, man. You know, when people are the abusers, they're actually the needy one. They're the one who needs you more than you need them. They're afraid, they're scared shitless that you're going to, you know, tell them that, you know, jump off a cliff, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, when it comes to neediness in that sense, there's a lot of fear of abandonment. You know, it's basically like, you know, they fear that people are going to leave them, so they'll do anything to cling on to them.
Right.
Sort of a thing. But what I was thinking of also is that, you know, because Max had told me about how maybe he tends to possibly attract needy people.
Yes, and that's true.
And I was thinking, you know, that really has to do with like setting boundaries, and that's what you know, a lot of times what we talk about in counseling is setting boundaries.
Oh yes.
And I watched these videos. They're by some guy named Nathan Lazarin. He's like a productivity guy, but he talked about this one book. So it's kind of like a video of a book, and he kind of describes it so you don't have to read it. Like he'll read it for you, and then he'll give you a little summary real quick, you know? So I learn a lot from those type of videos. And one thing he was talking about is, and it has to do with you, Max, being assertive about your boundaries. I think sometimes it doesn't happen that way. I think you just like, well, I'll help this person out, but I really don't want to, but I will. I'll just go ahead and do it. And basically what this book was entitled was Hell Yeah or No. And so basically the synopsis of it is that if you look at something, let's say you want somebody to help, you want to help somebody with their computer or something like that. We were kind of talking about that.
Right.
But if it's hell yeah, I'll go do it because, you know, I really want to help out this guy. That's my friend. That's my homie, whatever. I want to do that. Then you go do that. But if you're like a little bit on the fence, or if you're like, yeah, but I don't really want to, if you're like that, then it's an automatic no.
Interesting.
And so you have to create these boundaries so that you don't fall into the trap of having people need you so much.
Well, you know what? We just talked about this. Remember last week?
Yeah.
Cruise control.
Oh yeah, dude. Last episode, actually.
Yep. And he said the same thing to me, you know, that, you know, I love to be an inspiration and all this type of stuff. So, and I want people to see that I'm useful and all kinds of shit. So this is why I tend to do those things sometimes, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You want, you know, I'm helpful. I can do it. I'm a blind guy who can help fucking sighted people do something or somebody else do it, you know? And so he jumps in and then he's stuck in these relationships, you know, with these people or
right.
And it's like, oh, okay. Now he's going to do it again. And he keeps doing it. He doesn't go,
so
I'll do it once.
It's all about setting boundaries.
Yeah.
Though. It's all about setting boundaries.
Yes.
So if you no longer want to do it, you know,
right.
You know, then you have to say to yourself, okay, I no longer want to do this. So instead of being all angry about it, like, dang, they need me again. Jeez, you know, like, here we go again. They need me again. You have to say, you know what? Yeah, you know, I figured I helped you with the basics, and now, you know, I got to go, you know, do something else, or I've got to go help somebody else, or I just don't want to, you know, not in an aggressive way, because there's a difference between aggression and assertiveness, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And I think I've talked about it on one of my lives, is aggressiveness versus assertiveness. And assertiveness is more like, I respect you as a person, but I'm still saying no. I'm still, you know, you respect me, I respect you, but I'm putting my foot down and saying, no, I'm not doing that this time.
Yeah. Yep. You have no idea how what you said resonates with me right now, man. I'm not going to go into details, but I'll just say, yes, absolutely. That's the boundaries are the word. And it's also a problem with Brett, maybe a little bit of yourself being needy. because you're needy in a way to you. You're like, you want to help people, but it's also to kind of, like I said, kind of shore up some shit that maybe you're, you know what I'm saying, dealing with. Like, so, I'll help this person, and maybe they'll think I'm fucking, you know, like you're trying to get approval in a way from them. And that's what a lot of needy people, you know, like it's a codependency type of thing.
Yeah. That's
not to pick on just Max, you know.
No, dude.
I think we all fall into that situation.
Oh shit,
though,
man.
You know?
Yeah. No,
you know, it's a little bit of pride. It's like, oh, I'm needed, so let me go do that. And then it turns into, oh shoot, I'm needed way too much. I don't want it. I don't want this anymore. I don't want it from this person anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, something
you only wanted to help them a little bit and then roll out.
Right. Yeah. Well, and you're hoping by helping them, it'll make them more independent. But I'm finding that actually it does the opposite, where they become very dependent on you, you know?
Yeah. Because the problem, Brett, is you're not giving them a push. You're not teaching them how to fish. You're teaching them how to fish, and then teaching them how to cook the fish. And then you're teaching, like, you give them the push, right? And then you let it go. You know, there's nothing wrong with you helping the way you do. It's part of who you are and why you're so fucking cool, and why people like you and why people want to follow you and want to be. But also, you got to stop. You got to stop yourself after that push, or like regulate it, like.
Yeah, because the reality is that we don't have control over other people, so we can't just be like, what can we do about this needy person? Maybe I can control them. There's no way to do that.
Yeah,
they can get the point. They can realize, oh, I'm being too needy when you establish those boundaries.
Yeah,
but that's the only thing that you can control is your own behavior, your thoughts, your feelings. That's all you've got. Well, you don't have control over anything else. You don't have control over anyone else.
The funniest thing, though, is I've actually heard people say to me, yeah, I know I'm a pain in the ass, but you know what I mean? So
because you keep doing it, and you're like, oh, okay, that means that they'll allow me to keep helping them, and then I can keep, you know, that's like almost like an agreement. Like, yeah, I know you don't want to do this, was what they're saying, but you're still going to do it anyway. So I'll.
Right. Like, I know you're, you know, I'm bugging the piss out of you, but you know, it doesn't matter.
So is it right though? Like, when they do say that, are they bugging the piss out of you?
In most cases, yes.
At that point?
Yes, at that point.
All right.
I'm thinking in my mind. It's almost like they're reading my mind, you know?
Yeah.
Right. So I wonder if there's a gentle way of saying something like, well, yeah, you know, I really don't want to do this anymore, but, you know, I can maybe lead you to some resources.
Right.
You know, maybe you can just be the resource guy.
Yeah.
I try to just be the resource guy.
Not necessarily be the hands-on guy that goes over there and like does everything,
right? But be
the resource guy. Well, that's what I've fallen into that trap too. I mean,
but you know? once be the resource guy. Here's your resources. There it is. Not when he calls back the next day. What? No, the one I gave you the resources. I refer to those resources. That's it.
Yeah.
Because I think with Max, you know, I know him for so long, is a lot of it. He doesn't like anything emotionally messy. And having to tell somebody no is emotionally messy, you know, is because there might be some feelings hurt, and I don't know. I'm just gonna do it. Right. I'll just rather just do the shit than hurt the feelings. I had that problem big time. I'm a very big feeling oriented person in a lot of ways. I've admitted that recently, where I'm the guy in the room who knows how people feel, and so I try to please everybody, smooth things out, and it leads to people taking advantage of it.
So there's this other theory. There's this other theory that. That's very popular. It's called rational emotive therapy, and it's by Albert Ellis, which I'm a big fan of. And basically, what it is there's things that are called musts, oughts, and shoulds that we put on ourselves. Mm-hmm. And so I'm thinking that one of your and one of Max's shoulds is I should always help people when they need it.
Right.
And is that necessarily true? So you kind of dispute that. Should I always help them? And must everything go smoothly? No, not all the time. Not everything's going to go smoothly. Life has bumps and bruises and curves and all kinds of stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
And so one of the things that you're going to experience is if when you do say no, you know, people might be like, oh, fuck you then, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, they might get mad, but in the end, if what you're trying to do is teach them independence, they're going to appreciate you eventually. It's kind of like the
You'll
the
thank
kid
me later
who,
kind of thing.
who gets exactly like the kid who gets spanked or gets punished quite a bit, you know, for doing stupid stuff, right?
Right.
In the end, when they grow up, they're like, you know what? I thank mom and dad because they did discipline me, and I was a jerk, and I was stupid, and I did do stupid things, and now I'm more appreciative of the fact that they did, you know, discipline me and do that kind of stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So think about the future, not so much the present. Like, oh, they're going to be upset and they're not going to like me and they're going to call me names and shit like, you know.
Yeah.
And
So what is the deal with you wanting to be liked by everybody? You don't have to be.
Well, that's true. Not everybody's
Yeah.
going to like you. That's true.
Exactly.
Well, and you're
Exactly.
right about the boundaries thing, man. You know, when I was, I mean, Cruise Control knows when I worked at camp, you know, I had a few kids that actually wanted my phone number. So I actually asked the male unit director, who was my boss. I said, hey, you know, some kids want my number, dude. What do I do? And he goes, give it to them. They'll never call you. It's long distance. Oh, fuck. They called me all the time. And remember the one guy actually came out here. Remember that?
Yeah, that was, like I said, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And it's almost like, I know you, and I know you think, and you, because part of it is that you like the train wreck, Max.
Yeah.
That's why you like the train wreck. You like to report back on the train wreck. So you get the more, you know, he gets unemotionally. So
I feel like we're picking so much on Max right now.
Well, I kind of wanted to do this, man, because I want to fix.
Well,
you know, like I said,
the thing is, believe me, man. There's been a lot of shit that we talked about me too. So and Max knows Max seen some of my demons. So
yeah.
Believe me, we could go into that too, and I definitely will, because it's kind of similar in a way. I think the difference is that I get overly sensitive to it. Like I am like, I don't want to feel this because I know it's going to hurt me more than it probably is going to hurt the person saying. Like I'm, you know, while Max is like, I don't want to feel this because I don't like emotion. I don't, you know, ew.
Don't want to deal with it. Yeah.
Like I'm the type who'll dive in and go, you know, I'm more that way. I really care more about that. So I think that's kind of, we're very similar in that way. But I don't help people in that way. I'm, like I said, I'm the guy who wants to be in the room and go, you feeling all right? How you feeling? You know, like, so that's the difference. I'm approaching it from a feeling standpoint. He's approaching it more from a things standpoint. I will help you do this. I will help you work on this.
Okay.
But I will not fucking talk to you about your feelings.
So for you.
Yeah. I will not talk about your feelings. For me, it's like,
right.
I you know, I know I can help you with this, but you're in a bad state. And until we do that, I can't help you with it because you're in a shitty place. So let's talk about it. Let's smooth it out. Make, you know, whatever. Right.
How is it working for you?
How is it working? It's been in some ways a disaster. It's been but it's been some way, you know, because it says there's strengths and weakness to everything. Like I know in some ways I can read people and I can go, hey, I can compromise. And I go, hey, whoa, calm down. It's okay. You know, I can de-escalate situations, right? I can kind of, I'm kind of balanced in that way. I can kind of in and out. Other ways, like I said.
I got to say though, Cruise Control, you're great at telling people to fuck off if you need to. You know what I'm saying?
Only people I don't really know, or when they reach a point where I can't do it anymore and I'm emotionally exhausted, and it's literally to the point where they've done it like 8-10 times. It's not like I said, you won't turn down strangers. I'll be like, no, I'm not going to help you with that because I don't care about those people. But the people I care about, I think they'll walk all over me if I let them.
Yeah.
And I've done that before. But I get to a point where I shut off and I go, you're no longer in this the friend, you know, friendship.
No.
You've done,
not the friend zone anymore.
And it's not like I don't say anything.
You're not in the friend zone.
I guess you're no longer in any zone basically. But here's like a point. The point is like you get in an argument with someone or something, right? And then you say how you feel then. I don't have a problem saying that then. But the problem is that I go, okay, I said it, and then we go, all right, we're fine, and then I get all comfortable, and then it happens again. You know, the person does something to me again, and then I go, oh, and I get yelled at, but then I'm saying, I'm standing up for myself. No, you're not, because you're still dealing with the shit they're doing to you. So that's been that's probably my most recent lesson learned is that, and it's happened 20, you know, it hadn't happened in a while, but it happened again recently. And I said, oh God, I gotta have some, this is a self-respect issue. This is a boundaries issue. And I have to kind of cut ties. I have to get away from this person because I realized what the relationship was, a codependent, abusive relationship. And I said, holy shit. And when I realized that, you can't unrealize stuff, right? Like when you realize, when you go, oh my God, this is the exact same way I felt with this other person who was the same way. And I felt so much better when I had to cut it was pretty ruthless but it had to happen, it's because you have to do it. So yeah, I've learned a lot. So yeah, that's me. So now back to Max. Max, you.
Yeah.
Does it necessarily have to be ruthless though?
No. Let me rephrase that.
Cordial.
Let me rephrase that. Not ruthless in terms of how I presented it. I was very calm, but ruthless in the fact that it had to be a cut. It had to not be in a week or two we'll talk. It had to be I'm not going to talk to you for a time. Please, I hope for the best for you. I love you. This is for me. I have to do this. And that's how it went. And I'm really kind of, I can't believe, it was really hard to do. It was so hard to do. God.
But I think when you're pushed to that point, man, that it makes it easier for you, where you're like, okay, all right, you're making it real easy.
No. I mean, after the fact, it's a relief. Like I know that it was the right decision to make. I knew it the moment, the next day, when I was like, I just felt it was the right thing to do. I knew it at the moment I did it, but it's a shame. It's a fucking tragedy is what it is. And what do you do? What do you got to do? You got to take, like you said, boundaries. You have to take care of yourself. You got to put the oxygen mask over your own face before you can put it over other faces, right? So that's
like just like the airplane.
Yeah.
Good analogy.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better, so I'm not going to say anything right now.
Awesome.
Wow. Yeah, man. That's but that was a lot of people, and I have friends that deal with needy people, and I get plenty of them, and I especially see it with other blind people, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The bottom line is
you see the neediness in blind people?
In a lot of blind people, yes. Yeah. Where they, they want you to do things for them, or they just become very clingy, very quick. And you're just like, man, dude, chill out, calm down, bro. Don't you have any friends?
Unfortunately.
Just because you're very independent, and I had to learn this lesson too. So I'm talking to myself as I'm talking to you. Just because you're an independent blind person doesn't necessarily mean that all people are independent blind people.
Right. But I guess
and Brett, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's the crappy part of it, because you want everybody to just be like, you know what, just get off your ass and do it, like we do, and just take the bull by the horns and do it like we do.
Right.
But I have a brother who's also visually impaired, and he does have a little bit of autism or something like that. He's on the spectrum somehow. Wow. And he has some independence, but it's not nearly as much as me. Not even close, And so, sometimes I'll get onto him like, hey, you can actually do that. You know that, right? You can actually, go on the bus system and learn the bus system and do all that. And he has, Right. But sometimes I have to give him that little push, just to make him do it.
Yeah.
And then or not necessarily make him do it, but because we can't make anybody do anything. But at the same time, we have some influence on some people.
Some people, yeah, because and that's the big thing. I think a lot of them are not just. It's not like they're cognitively, incapable of doing something. It's just they're going on what they're told. They're listening to their social workers or something. Oh, you can't do this,
All right, Brett. I'm gonna. Well, go ahead, Louie. Say what you're gonna say. I got. Go ahead.
One more thing. So, my mom was very sheltering for both of us, right? But I was the type of person who was like, Mom, you're being too sheltery. I don't give a shit. If you think that I can't do it, I'm gonna go do it. And I went out and did it.
Well,
oh, you can't ride bikes. I'm gonna go do it.
I'm gonna ride a bike.
Yeah.
and I've ran over some people, and I've ran over some parked cars and done some crazy things because I couldn't see what the heck I was doing.
Right.
But I went out there with the rest of my friends, and I rode bikes, and I did stuff that visually impaired people don't normally do, quote unquote. And when my mom did the same thing to my brother's reaction was, okay, Mom, you're right. I'm just going to chill. And so he didn't do half the stuff that I did.
Wow. It's interesting. And you're older, aren't you, than him?
Yeah.
Okay. So you think she would have learned from you, like, oh shit, you know, he was able to do it, you know?
Yeah. I think she was going through her own little issues though, you know. When you're going through the divorce, you know, you're trying to like make sure the kid's okay and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
That's
probably a lot of guilt feelings and whatever else was going on there.
Yeah.
Now, Cruise Control, you were going to say something, right?
I just have a thought for you, Brett. I know you think, oh, I'm so independent and all that stuff, yet you constantly need to have people helping people. So like, is that a need of yours? Like maybe you should realize, like, I guess the whole point of it is what I'm realizing so much is that I've always known this, but it's just hitting home is there's always more than one side. It takes two to tango in any relationship. When you're dealing with yourself in the tribe or yourself in the world, you go, oh, I'm so independent. And then you go, oh, you need some help.
So it's almost like I have a need to do that.
Like you said, it is because you go, I don't know why I do it. So why do you do it? Because you're independent. Don't get me wrong. You know, in terms of the standard blindo checklist of independence, but you go to a bar all the time to hang out with people. Yeah. You had to go to a bar. You couldn't stay home alone. You couldn't. You had to do that. You had to go out and go hang out with people. I'm not saying this is a not healthy thing to do, but also, dude, you have to realize that your responsibility. You're responsible for that too, a little bit. In other words, just be responsible for it too. That's all.
To own it
as an adult. Oh no, and you say them, all these people, and they don't do that, but then you go and help these people, and then you almost like you do it so that you can say, oh, look at him, he's still doing it, and then you go over and do it again. He's still doing it. I helped him again, and he's still doing it. Oh, this guy, look at me. I'm not doing that. I'm fucking Brett Silver. Back so Silverhammer. I know it's a little harsh. I'm being too. Yeah, obviously I'm being harsh to make the point, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I got you. What were you gonna say, Louie?
So I was thinking about this. I heard you say earlier that you like to be the blind person that even helps out the sighted people. Oh yeah, and I do that now. Yeah, so it gives you like a sense of pride, and it's like I get pride, but I think you get yourself into some trouble when your pride gets in the way. Like, oh, now I didn't create any boundaries, and the person, even the sighted people, are like, hey, you helped me with that one thing. Can you help me with this other thing too?
Well, it's funny because
because you have that pride, you're like, oh yeah, I'll do it again. Because it gives you it's almost like an addiction in a sense. It's like it gives you a little jolt of dopamine. Like,
dopamine, hell yeah, I'm awesome, and you just realize it again.
I'm needed again.
Yeah,
I'm needed again. You know.
Interesting.
I gotta wait. It's here it is. Max. Max. Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm blind, but I'm still better than you.
And that's very possible, man. That could be it. Could be a pride thing. Well, some things I don't mind doing. Like I got one friend he's not really good with computers, and he's got to file his unemployment every week. So I've been doing that for him, and I actually don't mind doing that. Really, that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. Because he doesn't take it any further. That's it. And then he's helped me out too. Okay. So. It's actually a positive relationship, but there are others, man, that just continue,
Yeah. And it's more you giving of yourself than them than actually getting something out of it,
Right.
Yeah. A give-get relationship is okay, I mean, look at the crazy things that we do, for women,
Well, that's true.
You trade money for sex, really, sometimes,
Yeah.
If you're making bank, then you can get the hot girl and be like, it's kind of sex for money, in a sense.
Right. It's just funny. It's so funny though, because I'm the opposite of Max, and I'm actually gonna kind of not rip on myself, but just kind of throw some shit out there about me. I'm the exact opposite. I'm the guy who sits in the fucking room. And, you know, I mean, I have great relationships. I have an improv group. I'm very balanced in terms of myself and the tribe. That's how I think of it. It's like Jung's 8 functions, Carl Jung. I'm kind of into that kind of stuff. The shadow work and that kind of thing. That's where I'm at right now. Objective personality, that kind of stuff. This is a website. But that's kind of where I'm at. That's how I'm working to grow into an adult, to make myself a more complete person. And one of the things that I do is I am the daydream master. I am, if only people saw what if only people could see inside my soul, they would see how amazing I fucking am. And rock back and forth about dreaming about fucking songs and all this stuff. And my problem is no one's gonna fucking see how good you are, you dumbass, until you actually show them in the real world, the external world, not your little fucking world, until you prove it. I've releasing this album has been and doing this Earthling thing that show this last year has been the very, 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 very growing year in terms of everything. That's why I was able to kind of come to this conclusion and make some decisions recently in my life. I mean, I feel like I'm on the path to becoming a true adult, and it's really hard to admit that you're not an adult when you're in your 40s. But sometimes you got to just say, hey, you got some shit you got to work on, dude. And here's how do you work on it. Like, this is how you work on it. So I've been working out more, getting out and externalizing stuff and just trying to do more in the world. Like, cause it's probably a blindo thing for me as visually impaired. Cause I'm so used to, and I talked about it the other night, but I won't go into too many details about that, but you know how it is. Like, it's like you're trying, when you see how much people can see better than you can, like, I know exactly what sight is. I know the concept. Brett has no idea. So he has no idea about the concept of sight. So for me to always be seeing how much better people can see, I don't trust the outside world. It's really fucking hard for me to, because I don't trust myself in that way, you know? So it's what's the easiest thing to do in that? You go inside, you build shit in your head, and you play video games because they're on a screen in front of you that you can see easily, but you can still be badass. So you can still kick people's asses and act like you actually have some fucking, you know, like you're not at a complete disadvantage out in the real world. And this is not a poor me thing. This is, I mean, I know I know it's, as I say with Brett, it's a strength of mine, you know, it's a weakness of mine, but I have other strengths that, you know, just another weakness, you know, that's how the healthy blind person thinks about it in my mind, right? Hey, this is just a weakness that I have. It's just more obvious, right? But it's really, really starting to come to head how much it has affected me in my life, like the real way it's affected me. And one of that ways is that I'm starting to do things. Oh my God. Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of don't understand what you mean by because people can see so much better than you. What does that do?
For me, it's like a trust issue. Like if you know that you can't see something outside and you have to walk around something, and then automatically someone says, "Oh," like if you go up to someone and say, "Hey, nice to meet you," and they go, "Hey, it's John. This is your brother or friend," you know, because you didn't recognize their shirt or you didn't recognize. So it's like you have to fucking always focus on it constantly. Like it's almost like and you notice things like, you know, like I cut my hand when I was, you know, younger, and I don't like knives that much because, you know, I don't like to cook. I don't like to do things. Now I will tell you how you feel about your life, and I will fucking tell you my philosophy of life, and I'll be able to write you a song, do an improv skit. You know, I'm good at mental stuff, you know, but in terms of like, you know, I'm not saying I get around. I mean, people are amazed at my vision, like, because I don't have a dog or a cane. And the reason I don't have a dog or a cane, that's just another fucking thing I have to worry about when I'm outside.
Sure.
Dog. Sure. So that's where I'm coming from with that. Yeah.
With me, with functional sight too. I don't know. I can't remember how much you can. I think you might be able to see a little bit better than me even, but I got pretty decent vision. And, you know, compared to Max.
Compared to me, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But you know, in unfamiliar places, if I'm not with my wife, if I'm just by myself, I'll take my cane just because I don't want to slip and fall into some hole somewhere, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I you know, me not looking down because I'm looking straight ahead and trying to, you know, navigate my surroundings, you know, there might be something I'll miss. So I'll use a cane for that, only for that purpose though. But most of the time when I'm with my wife, I don't use a cane. You know, I don't use the cane to use a cane to get around in offices that I've already been to a few times. I just don't use it, because I'm like, I know where I'm going.
There's no point. I guess my thing is I don't the way my vision works, since that's a visual thing, because that's one of the things all three of us know is our vision is so different.
Oh yeah.
And I guess my point is, for different people, they handle things different way. And I interpreted that instead. I have such a rich inner imagination. I love reading. I love, I'm always thinking in my head. I have this really rich. So it was so easy for me to go into that, while others people might not. Like like you might not. You might not. You might go, wow, that's an interesting perspective, but it didn't feel that way to me growing up, right? But I've learned that that's how I did it. That's how I coped with it. Is that I said, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to build this fucking thing in my head. I've got all this lovely place here. I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to have this little apartment. It's very minimal. I've got minimal shit, minimal stuff. Yeah. Clothes are all very simple. Black shirts, very just. Yeah.
Well, whatever works for you. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Whatever works for you.
Not really. I don't think so. I think sometimes you got to go, you know what? You need to branch out and at least learn how to do some certain things. You know?
That's true.
Okay. So that's cool. But let me bring you back to the must oughts and shoulds for
Got you. Okay, cool. I love it. Thank you, dude. This is awesome.
So the thing about the must oughts and shoulds is that sometimes they're debilitating. So in your case, you're saying, because I'm good in this area here, I'm good in, thinking futuristically, I'm good at thinking of things in my mind, then I must be good at everything, every single thing. And is that really necessarily? Yeah. So is that necessarily true? Even for a sighted person, not every sighted person is. Some sighted people, they can't sing worth shit.
Oh yeah.
Some blind people can't sing for shit. I'm one.
But, yeah, exactly. But, but what I'm saying is people are people. They don't excel in every single quality. There's certain qualities that you do excel in, and you use those to navigate the world. But the rest of the stuff, it's just, I am a little bit mediocre. Fine, I'm weak in this area. I'm not good at I'm not good at reading Shakespeare. I don't give a shit about it. There's other people that are all into it, and they know all the sonnets and all the poetry and all the things of all the plays and everything. And I'm like, I don't care. But it's not that I don't care. It's just that I'm probably weak in that area.
Mine is more of a general. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, good.
Mine is more of a general idea of, okay, these are things that I should be doing with myself because it's unhealthy not to do them, like not cleaning your room or not doing the basic things that need to be done in your outer world that are healthy to do. So the point, I guess I'm saying is that a lot of people don't do things that are necessary for their lives. Some people don't clean their room. Some people don't actually take a moment and stop and go, I need to think about what I'm doing with my life. I need to actually introspect and go in here and actually think about it. Right? I think that's the functions. That's basically what it is. Like the needs, the human needs, you need, I don't need to go out and meet people. Yeah, you do. You don't, not necessarily like a human fundamental way.
I think COVID's taught us that one.
Yeah. Right. Well-rounded, like working, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I've been working out again, and I've got this trampoline, and it's just this, and it's the way I work out. I figured out an exercise I really enjoy. It works my whole body. Mm-hmm. It's simple to do in terms I can do different things on it. So it's not just one exercise, but it's not like going to a gym or anything and it's improved my life immensely because just a simple act of doing that. I've cleaned my apartment. I know it sounds like, oh, wow, you clean your apartment, but the simple act of doing those things that are healthy, well-rounded people do, has improved my everything, my mood, everything, because I'm doing things that need to be done. I'm not neglecting the things that I need to do to sit in that little fantasy place where I feel comfortable. That's pretty much where I'm talking about. And it's a big step, so.
And there's no set rule that says you have to be well-rounded, but that's your goal. That's your thing. That's what you want to do.
Yes.
And so you're taking the steps to do that, and that's fine.
I know I'll never be the fucking rock star. Yeah. But I'll never be fucking Jordan.
No.
Never be Michael Jordan on a basketball court. But I can make sure that my apartment's clean and that I
Sure.
have everything, right? Simple stuff.
Yeah. Well, too,
Yeah.
stepping out of that comfort zone is kind of a good thing sometimes, even though you're talking to a guy who hates change. I hate change. So, and I love routine, that's Cruise Control used to call me Routine Ranger. So, I mean, that's my thing, man. I'm all about that. So, anything that breaks my routine fucks me up. It's kind of almost like Rain Man in a way, because I think my routine makes me self-sufficient, makes me independent, stuff like that.
Yeah, man. So must do. So what is that? I want to actually look that up. So could you tell me what that is again? The must don't. I'm gonna actually read that book. You said hell. Is that the hell yeah no, or is that a different book? No, it's Alan. Albert. What's his name?
Ellis.
Albert Ellis.
Okay.
And he's got a lot of books, but one that's really good is called A Guide to Rational Living.
Okay.
Yeah.
A Guide to Rational Living.
I remember that guy, man. Oh, good.
Yeah. Basically, what he's trying to do is so he basically says that you have an activating event. Let's just say, I don't know, somebody pisses you off or somebody says something to you, right?
Okay.
And we think that automatically it goes to somebody said something to me, therefore I'm pissed off. But there's an underlying belief in the middle that's saying, well, why am I pissed off? What's that all about? And a lot of times it's because we say they shouldn't be talking like that to me, or they shouldn't be saying that to me, or they shouldn't this, and it's all shoulds, musts, and oughts. Yeah. They ought to be better. They ought to treat me better, or they ought to not be so needy, like Maxwell. saying, hey, this person ought not to be so needy. And so it's like, you kind of put that in there, and then you say, well, what's is that really true that they must not? I mean, most of the time the answer is no, because it's like, well, they don't have to be. It would be great if they were, but if they're not, then I'm going to have to be okay with that, because otherwise I'll just be like, forget the relationship and I'm out of here, But in order to keep, in order to keep a healthy relationship with that person, you're going to be like, you know what? I know that they have that flaw, and I'm not going to put this whole, you should be like that always. You should not cross my boundary. You should not, you shouldn't take it too far. Like, I want you to need me only this much.
No, I get it. I get that.
But if you take it too far, then I gotta, so it's basically like kind of like translating those musts into something like, well, I would prefer that, but if it's not that way, then I'm not going to make it such a terrible, awful thing.
How do you figure to get that balance? Because in my situation, or in anybody's situation where you have to tell someone something that you feel strongly about, like you said, oughts, what's, like, how do you want to get in that trap? Because you second guess yourself on decisions that are made. At least I'm not you. I do. Let me forget that. I second guess. Yeah. So I second guess myself. So how do you know? Like, I feel like I know I made the right decision because of how I feel now. Like, I just, going over it. I didn't make a rash decision. It was a long, hard decision I made. So, like, how do you not get in the trap of going down that rabbit hole?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, sometimes the shoulds are good things. Like, okay, if the relationship's getting too codependent, then I should cut it off. Well, that's healthy, right? That leads to a healthy place. But in most of the time, those shoulds, they lead to aggression, anxiety, depression. They lead to other things that are not so healthy. So if you see the little belief system behind it, like, I must perform as well as all sighted people, or, I must, is that really true?
Yeah. Is that really true?
Yeah, like,
no.
And it's not, because there's certain things that sighted people can't even negotiate, and we know how to do.
Yeah.
Like,
true.
use screen reader software. My wife, every time she listens to the screen reader, she's like, she's like, I have no idea what it's saying. And I'm like, I know what it's saying.
Max, I've said that to you dozens of times. Like, I can't understand what the fuck
Well, actually, no. You see that actually you've never done that, but I have had some people go, "How do you understand that thing anyway?"
No, I don't understand yours because yours goes so fast. You're like, I'm like, I can kind of hear
I
it.
don't think you've ever commented on it though, man. I don't remember
Why
you
would
ever.
I? Dude?
You know?
Well, of course, it's obvious why you would have better. There's no reason to go. Well, do you actually know how to use? It's like
Because I've had people do that.
That's
How
like
do you understand that?
Max. That's like you going. Well, you can read the screen.
Oh, you'd be surprised, man. I've had people say
you
stupid
have.
shit like that.
Of course
like,
you have, and you're gonna file it away and keep it for the McSidey hatred tribe issues you have. What the hell you're doing there?
And I'm sure, Cruz, you've had people say, "Wow, you magnify that to a very large level. How are you able to navigate and move around the screen that way?" Because I'm sure you use stuff like Zoom text or something like that, right?
Nope.
He doesn't use any technology. No.
I don't because my vision is all about getting close to stuff. So no matter how far away I am from the screen, it doesn't make a difference. I got to get close. So it just gets more annoying because I'm seeing this big ass word in the head. I'm like,
Well, but you've had people say
do you use like Control Plus and Control Minus and that kind of thing to
I use a lot of that.
Make it a little bit bigger.
I use a lot. I use a little bit. I don't make. Make a lot of big. I have a high resolution screen, but I use. The mouse is the largest font. It has the contrast, all that shit. And I use the contrast, the black screen instead of the white screen. So in other words, it has the background, so it contrasts. But I don't use the magnifier. It's disoriented me. I need to see the whole screen because I can't focus.
Yeah, I don't like the magnifier either.
I can't focus. I have no focus ability because of my pupil is malformed from coloboma. This is what I call this. For all of you out there, coloboma is my shit.
There's your $1 million word, man. Hey.
And I'm blind in my left eye, so no depth perception. So I get close to shit. I always get close to shit. I read all the time though. I'm an avid reader. I love reading.
Well, then you've had idiots do stupid shit like the time you were on the bus. That's my favorite story. And the guy he grabs you.
Oh, here we go. Stories from the Blinks.
The Blinky story.
Blinky time.
No, the guy took your book and he was like, "Hey, I'm going to write a phone number here so you can go get some glasses." Remember that idiot?
Dude, you'll relate to this story. Dude, I'm sure you've had this shit. I remember the book too. It was A Bag of Bones by Stephen King.
Good book.
And I'm reading the paperback, and I'm all into it because it's the bus ride. I'm going home from work. I worked as a receptionist at the time, and I'm doing. I'm reading this book. And this guy goes, "Hey," and he holds out his glasses. He goes, "You need to use my glasses." And I'm like, "I'm totally fine, sir. I'm reading the book." He goes, "No, you need my glasses, man." I go, "I don't need your glasses. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And thank you for, trying to, and he goes, "You're an asshole." And he walks away.
I thought he tried to take your book from you and write on it or something.
Like "Here, let me give you mine," or something. I'm like, "No, please." Like, I barely even remember. I think I kind of like traumatized. It wasn't really that bad actually. In terms of I wasn't like, "Oh my God." I knew the moment it got done, I was like, this is a Max story. I can't wait to.
Oh yeah.
You navigated that much better than I would.
Oh, yeah, God. I think so. Yeah.
I would be after a few no, leave me alone. No, I'm cool. No, I'm okay. I would start shouting just because
I did say,
"Get out."
My voice did raise. It did. I wasn't that calm. My voice did raise. It did raise. I was like, "Sir, leave me alone." I said something like that. So I did. But then he goes, "You're an asshole. You don't know." Well, God, or the smelling your phone shit. Why are you smelling your phone? Fucking moron. Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, that's making fun of you, really, to be honest. I've had that happen.
I think it's people that maybe it's. I didn't really think about it that way. I never thought it was a subtle I thought it was just a dumbass.
Yeah, maybe that's what I thought too. Just
it's happened more than once. That's why.
Yeah, it's happened to me too.
Well, because I think with you guys, they don't realize you don't see. Unless you have a cane or have something that identifies.
That's the hard part of being visually impaired and not blind, because that's not that hard distinction between the two. So people will see us fuck up and judge us beforehand, and then it's
then when you do have a cane and you show that you have a little bit of vision, is even worse because now they think you're faking.
Oh, dude.
Oh yeah, I've heard that too. I actually had somebody ask me that one time. Hey man, you faking? I was
Dude.
like, why would I fake some shit like that?
Like, and not, you know, and it's funny. I mentioned before, I don't have a cane. I don't have a dog. It's not because I don't like. I'm dumb enough not to use them. I just don't need them. They just get in the way of how I see things. I see through patterns like colors. Like if I notice, I'll notice a person's walk or their color. That's why this mask shit is a fucking joke. And for me, it's so hard to fucking deal with people like without these things on. But man, when people will say, God, why don't you, it's like, that's the whole thing that we get that all the time.
Yeah. Well, there was somebody at my house, remember, that did that to you.
Oh man. Yeah. She was a counselor.
Yeah. Somebody from Bureau Services for the Blind that was helping a roommate of mine.
You need to wear sunglasses. I'm like, do you realize that sunglasses will destroy the ability for me to distinguish between colors? No, because you're not thinking.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what you were saying earlier, Louie, like about.
And you can always reframe it. You can always reframe it.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I didn't say it that way.
Instead of saying that they're not thinking, just say in your mind, you know what, they're pretty ignorant because they don't realize what kind of eye condition I have.
Yeah.
You know, they're basing it off of a momentary glance at me, a first impression of me.
Yeah.
And they don't know, you know, what I need unless they've done a full workup on me. And so you just take their advice with a grain of salt and just be like, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
And then you just move on.
Exactly. That's pretty much what I mean is like, they're fucking.
They're annoying. Well, it's kind of like what you were saying earlier, Louie, about, you know, how you've been to a place. If it's a place you're familiar with, you don't see the need to have to use a cane, which I totally get.
Right.
And, I said something about this on Facebook one day, and I had one of these, blindo bots, hit me up and go, oh, so, well, you didn't have your cane with you, so it's your bad, right? And I was like, no, actually, that fucker shouldn't have had the bag in the middle of the walkway, So, that's it.
And we always come back to this. We come back to this because it is, it's unfortunately not even unfortunately, just the way it is. It's a central part of all of our lives. I mean, for a while, I think a lot of visually impaired and blind people try to make it for a while. I was trying to make it. I'm just a, remember when I used to hate being called blind?
Oh yeah.
Like I'm not blind. I'm visually impaired.
Right.
And it's a lot of us try to deny, and then you just at some point when if you grow up a little bit, at some point as visually impaired and blind people, you just gotta go, it is actually absolutely central because there's no way to get away from it, and that's not a bad thing. It's just the admitting it. It's admitting that
is.
Yeah, it just is. It is the way it is. You are this way, no matter how much you try to reframe the wording. You're blind, bro. It's okay.
Right.
Well, I used to have a friend that was actually embarrassed.
Blind. Anyway.
It's a hard admission, man. It's a hard admission. But I used to have a friend that was in denial big time. And I remember one time we were on the phone with some girls or something, and they asked where we met. And I said, California School for the Blind. And he hung up on them. I said, why'd you hang up on them? He's like, man, you can't tell girls you got an eye problem. I'm like, bro, you can't hide that shit. And he's like, yeah, you can. So he was in hardcore denial. He's gotten better over the years.
Is he visually impaired or blind?
He is visually impaired.
So I wonder if that's a fucking difference. Is that we fight with that because we understand the difference? And Max, you're so fucking just damn right from the beginning.
Yeah.
You're blind. You're a fucking you're a glasses having, waving your head, Stevie Wonder motherfucker, right?
Yeah, I'm blind. I know it. And it's like, fuck, I can't hide this.
Like, how the fuck are you gonna do that? How are you fucking gonna hide that? In some ways.
I think it is, dude. I think it is a visually impaired because I noticed a lot of visually impaired. There was a girl we used to go to school with. Remember, she used to get mad when people would bring up her.
Yeah, and it was even worse because I believe that she was not blind earlier in her. Like she was losing her vision.
Right, it's gradual.
And gradual, so she understood even worse, like the difference, and especially when at that age, holy fuck, that must have been awful. Think about it, man. Being like 11 or 12 years old, and you have perfect sight, and you're losing it just when you're pretty, you have great friends, and just fuck me, because junior high fucked me over too, man. When I decided to leave the visual program, I'm gonna go to a normal school. I'm gonna hang out with my street friends. And I'm oh my god, what a grinder that was! Holy shit! I went from everybody knowing that we had a visual program in the school because our school had a program to nobody had a clue, being a younger brother of a dude who's in 9th grade who had a prosthetic eye that I could take out. Oh man. Wow. But you know what I'm saying? All these things you realize about, like, wow, this is why some of the things in your life, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Just a learning thing, man.
Well, anyway,
you must not call me completely blind because I'm not. And it's
exactly.
Like, I mean,
and you should not call me completely blind.
Exactly. And it's like, yes, I understand that only like, I think it's like the statistic is like 4% of people are totally blind, like Max over there. But the other 96% of us have some usable vision. So if you were to just start off with, I'm blind, but I can see some things, then that clears a little bit up. Like, now it opens the idea of, hey, well, what can you see?
I don't know though, man. People seem to be very extreme. You're either A or B. There's no gray area for some of these people. So they might say to you, "Well, if you're blind, what do you mean you can see? What does that? That doesn't make sense." Well, because there's varying degrees of blindness, but they're not thinking like that. It's either you're blind or you can see,
Right.
So that's kind of what I've seen with that. But Mom, this has been quite an entertaining discussion. I like that it kind of picked up from last week's deal a little bit too.
Hey, did I friend you on the book I don't usually use it much, but I'd like to keep in touch with you, man. And in fact, you're welcome anytime you want to, man, because more insight, and I hope I really appreciate you coming on, man. You got great insights, your shit, and dude, anytime, man.
Yep, always welcome back,
man.
Yeah,
cool.
Do you have any kind of information that you'd like to share in terms of, like, I know you have a Facebook, I mean, anything, do you do anything outwardly like that? Like are you looking to do more like your YouTube
push something
or stuff,
or
push anything like that? Anything you got going on?
Well, I mean, the only thing that I got going on really is, I have this thing called Mental Health Monday. It may die out eventually because I'm kind of running out of like topics to talk about. But, I'm hoping that it doesn't. I'm hoping that other people will come up with some topics and stuff like that. But every Monday on my actual personal page, I may end up turning into some sort of a group page. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Right.
It's just kind of a baby project at this point. I started it in March. I thought it was just going to be like a March Madness thing, and people were like, "Yeah, we want to hear some more." And I'm like, "Okay." And then April came around, and now we're in May, and I'm still doing them. So
and you're like,
kind of a weird thing.
I got to tell you,
hey, Louie, do you want to do it anymore?
You must do it. You must continue.
Should you do it?
I want to do it, but I want to get other people's just like, hey, can you talk about this? And I'll be like, I can research that and then put something up,
Shit.
And
I might throw some stuff up there.
Yeah, it's like a 10 or 15 minute little spiel on a mental health topic.
And it's good, man.
Right now it's been of my choice, but, in the future, I'd like it to be, people coming up with stuff, and then I'll be like, oh, I never even looked at that before. Let me check it out. And let me do some research and give you my spiel on it.
I think I added you at. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's cool because you don't talk down to people either. Sometimes these people try to come off as, "Oh, I'm the guru, and you should listen to me," but you don't do that,
right?
So it's cool.
No.
What were you gonna say, Cruise Control?
I was gonna say, I think I added you as a friend. I believe I did. So I think we're friends already. So I'll check that out, and I will actually think of things because like I said, I'm into this. Like Carl Jung stuff and some other stuff. This objective personality site that I'm really into. These people are badass, but it's
3 p.m. Central Time because I'm in Texas, so 3 p.m. Central Time.
Is it like a live stream thing, or is it more just like a video you post at that time?
It's a live.
You got a topic for tomorrow?
Yeah, you got one for tomorrow?
Not quite, but I'm thinking of doing something. maybe related to boundaries because that's what we talked about today. And I'm like, yeah, it's a pretty good topic. So
Nice.
Okay, cool, man. I'll if you do, I'll sort of friend you online, and I'll actually be there because I should be just chilling in my apartment tomorrow around 1. So.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, man.
cool.
Well, fuckers, this has been wonderful.
Yeah, dude.
I'm
Serious.
Maxwell Silverhammer.
Let's do this first, Max. We have to remember. We have to go by. We have to say this has been the Nothing Sacred show for what the fuck is the date again? The
Today's
9th.
the 9th. Yeah, the day before your birthday, man. By the way, it's Cruise
Birthday.
Control's birthday tomorrow, man.
Hey,
Yeah, happy birthday.
thank you, brother. Man, 45. I'm like the record. Spin that shit. I'm still spinning, baby.
Oh, yeah,
Spinning
yeah.
better than ever. Anyways, go ahead, Max.
Yeah, bitches. And I am Maxwell Silverhammer.
And I am Cruise Control.
And,
And
that's the story
there.
bitches.
We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred with Maxwell Silverhand.